Here is chasing Colton, and Colton had a little bit of a vacation for about 4 days last week while Billy and I escaped to Assateague Island. We had a lot of fun hanging out at the beach for a few days with our new living quarters trailer and looking at wild ponies, which was like the best thing ever. So Colton's now obviously back in work, and he's actually coming along so well. We ventured out of the rink today for the first time. So we came out of the fenced in 100 by 200 very structured arena, and we went out to the jump field, which is actually a huge change and it takes away so much structure. The jump field is about 5 acres. It's right next to the road, and traffic can always add a little bit of unwanted excitement. People drive so crazy and fast, and especially since it's just really straight right where our farm is. People go like 70 miles an hour. It's unbelievable. But anyway, Colton was so good about the traffic, so I always really appreciate that in horses, and he was wonderful. Actually, he was just wonderful about the whole thing. He really impressed me, so Colton is just coming right along. He's ticking along now. So this was our warm up in the ring, and I really like to use poles with all of the horses. I just think it's really good education for them in footwork and very low stakes. Like, it doesn't matter how huge a mistake they make, it's just a pole. It doesn't matter. They'll be unfazed by it. And the thing I like about using poles with Colton, because he has had to learn to steer, is that it holds myself accountable for being straight. It's really easy with young horses to let yourself slide on being in the center or being straight and to be like, okay, well, we made it to the pole. It doesn't matter that we're a little right or left of center. So I am constantly reminding myself that actually it really does matter. And laying down this foundational stuff when they're so young really carries through, and it makes everything else they do easier. And then also just for myself personally, trying to be a better rider, holding myself accountable. So we're working on turning, of course, because we're figure eighting over the pole. And then I'm trying to make sure that we're always getting straight directly to the center of every single pole. And so that's my job. And then, of course, his job is to pick up his feet and figure out the rest. But actually, he was awesome. He was so good about that. And I actually really think he likes the pole work, and he's going to take right to jumping. And I just don't think there's anything wrong with sort of, taking your time and not rushing to it. But he seems very happy-go-lucky to me to be doing all the things. So Chasing Colton is a 16-hand, 4-year-old thoroughbred gelding by Leo Frick, who's a Candy Ride line. And he's out of a Rockport Harbor mare, so he's very well-bred, sporty little horse. He ran 24 times, and his last start was 5:28. He was still in race training until I picked him up off the track probably about, 2 weeks ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. So he is right off the track. And that was such a great right canter transition he did for me there. Actually, he has such a cute balanced canter, which I'm finally able to show off a little bit now that we've got some basic steering here laid down. He broke there, which is why the video cut. I was annoyed that he broke out of the canter because it was such a nice canter, but alas. So he broke, so Billy stopped recording, and then when I asked him to canter again, he popped into the left lead, which was actually great because for whatever reason, even though he's a little easier to the left, he prefers to pick up his right lead right now. So it was great that he chose the left lead. So then we cut across the diagonal and we just stuck with the left lead for a minute. And this horse is funny because he surprised me a little bit, because when he came, he was just very excited. And I don't think he had been doing much at the track while he was waiting for me to get there and pick him up. So he was just a little bit lit up and excitable when he came. And he's not that. I mean, he just, as soon as he sort of settled in and got to work and all that got kind of stripped away and I could see the real him. He's actually quite a quiet natured horse. He kind of just wants to plod around and not be in much of a hurry, which I love. I mean, it makes him, when he's going like this is really cute and fun and very simple. He has Colton has no complicated emotions. It's all just very black and white for him. He doesn't get upset, which can be both good and bad, because like trying to teach him to steer, it would have been great if he cared a little bit if I was kicking him with my outside leg. That maybe would have made it easier for me, but he doesn't really care, which is also great because when he makes a mistake or I make a mistake or, something crazy happens, which crazy things are always happening, he's just not a horse that gets flustered easily. He just goes with the flow. So I would prefer the horses to be more in this direction. It certainly makes them easier. It makes them way, way more sort of amateur friendly and predictable, is I guess the right word for it. And Colton is still just going in a full cheek snaffle with peanut, very simple bit, no flash. He has such a cute little canter. I think he broke again in that corner. He's funny. It's my fault. I should be riding more purposefully and productively because he always gets me in that corner. When he's coming away from the gate as he rounds the corner, he slips so easy out of the canter into the trot. But again, this is a good problem to have because his default and his moment of unbalance or whatever it is to slow down, not to speed up, which again, creates a much sort of easier horse for most riders to feel confident developing. Okay, so here we are out in the field, and this was just on a leap of faith because he was being so good in the ring. He's not been out in the field before, so we came out here, took a little walk around. He got to see all the things, so this is just his first look. And, obviously he looks a little bit excited. He's looking around, but he was so good. There's absolutely no silly behavior. The only big change from the ring to the field for Colton, honestly, was that the bugs are worse in the field. It's not as hot feeling in the field because, of course, the heat doesn't radiate back up at you the way it does when you're on sand. So it actually feels a little bit cooler, but you're also stirring up all the bugs. Pros and cons to everything. We're actually lucky. June was super dry and the ground was like concrete, but in July we've had a lot of rain, so everything is green and the ground isn't too hard. And it's actually really nice. So, I just wasn't entirely sure what to expect, which would be totally fine if he got out there and steering failed because, why wouldn't it? His first time out in the field. But actually, he was fantastic. I couldn't have been happier with him. He kept steering. He was straight. He was listening. He was appropriately interested. Like, of course, he's going to want to look around and see all the sights and take it all in. You expect that, but he didn't ever take it too far, and he was just very reasonable about the whole thing. And I just love his cute little tempo in the trot. He just plods around, keeps the same tempo. Of course, when he's looking around at all the sights, he's a little bit off the contact, which again, that's fine. It doesn't matter. But when I have his attention, he's actually really soft. He's making a great shape. It's all very cute. I thought it was fantastic. I was very happy with him. And this little bit here down the road is so good. This just felt very rhythmic and balanced and relaxed. All the things that I want. It's so easy to take it for granted now that he is just so casually turning left and right. But 2 weeks ago, we couldn't do that. And again, this is really cute. And he's straight and he's interested but relaxed. So I was very happy with him today. He's shown me that he is growing up and he's figuring out all these things. And he's just a fun little horse who's going to make somebody really happy.